All right, y'all, back at you. And today we have an exciting find. I don't want to say find. Well, yeah, it is. What do we have, guys? What do we have?
Coconut.
Oh man, look at that. So, my beautiful wife and my oldest son scored us a ton of coconuts. And you can see, what do we got here, guys? It looks like we have some green ones and...
Yeah, we just, so these don't sound like they have water in them, but sometimes the green ones, if you let them sit for a little bit, they'll start sloshing around. So it was worth holding on to. So we're
it
just
looks like you have some sprouted ones here too.
Yeah, we got some already sprouted ones.
And real quick, guys, if you didn't see our video on Queen's bread, there is probably some Queen's bread inside of these guys. And I don't think, we'll probably plant these, right?
Yeah, we're gonna plant these down in our coconut grove.
Yeah, so yeah, we have, I'm not gonna take you guys down there right now because it's so windy, but if you look over there in the back, we're starting our coconut grove over here, and you can see we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full size coconut palms, and then we have like another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I mean, we have almost 20 coconuts over there, coconut palms. And what's the plan for those?
Well, to have coconuts and leaves, because I like making baskets and stuff out of the leaves. So.
And we think what we're gonna do with these over here, as you can see, my neighbor has some in the back, and they get coconut palms. If you're not familiar with them, they get real tall.
Yeah.
So we're thinking what we might do is, you know, it takes several years to actually get a coconut from the time we plant one. And then you have several years where you can, you know, pick them with relative ease, you know, with your average, you know, pole pruning, you know, tool that you get at Home Depot or Lowe's. But I think after they get a certain height, we might just cut them down and let more grow up so we can harvest them easy.
And to keep them from killing us and falling on our heads.
Yeah, right. And that's another reason why they're all the way over there and not around the play set or not around our house, because it's no joke. Falling coconuts are scary. In fact, our neighbor over here, I don't want to show any of our neighbors' property, you know, to be polite to them, but they have coconut palms everywhere. And when a coconut falls off one of their trees and hits their roof, they have a metal roof. It sounds like someone just shot a shotgun over there, doesn't it? And so, you know, you don't want that to happen to your head, right, Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so we'll probably plant these guys, and then these guys right here. When I was moving this cart down here, I mean, you can just hear all the water sloshing around in them, and like these guys are really. I mean, a lot of people call the coconut the tree of life, I think, right?
Yes, it's the tree of life.
And I mean, honestly, I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. Just go look online. You know, people in Asia and in South Pacific and stuff use like every part of the coconut palm for just a number of things. And you can also find a lot of stories online of people who are shipwrecked or stranded on some teeny little desolate sandy island that doesn't have much except for a coconut palm, and they live for, you know, they live off the meat and the juice or the water they can get out of these coconuts until someone comes and rescues them. So
the jelly on the inside of these green coconuts actually can sustain a newborn child. It's one of the only things found in nature, other than the mother's milk, of course, that can sustain a baby. At least that's what we read in the book, The Bounty.
Yeah, and then also these guys talk about like prepping for a disaster or the end of the world. I mean, these guys, we can just let them sit around in our yard, and they'll hold fresh coconut water and fresh meat in the coconut for months and months. I mean, now I have to warn everybody though. We've come across some that you know, some air got into them or whatever, and I mean, man, it smells like your local garbage dump. Like they're real gross if you know, an animal gets into them and exposes the inner core of them, and all that flesh starts rotting. It's real
disgusting.
Gross. I mean,
so we picked out these as being good. there were more that we saw in the landscape piles that were not good. They had
right.
holes
So
in them.
real quick, if anyone's wondering, you got to check out our Plant Pirate series. But we like to go around and pick through people's landscape piles for goodies, and we got all of these out of a neighbor's landscape pile. One of our other neighbors just has so many coconut palms that they just don't know what to do with all the coconuts. They've already planted all they want to plant, and they have all the coconuts they want on their property. So we're constantly getting more coconuts from that one pile. But
to get a good coconut, you need to make sure that when you look at the hole right here, you need to make sure that that's completely sealed, because this is usually where they're cut. But you also want to look all the way around it and make sure there's no like blisters. You want to shake it.
yeah,
Listen.
You can hear the water in that one.
If there's no water in it, that means that there's a hole in it somewhere. So
this is like the husk. Like if you've ever bought a coconut at your grocery store, usually it doesn't have that husk on it. You've probably seen it's a little, I don't have one laying around here, but they're like a little round ball with like, it looks like a little man's face on it almost. There's 3 openings.
yeah, like a little monkey or a sloth face.
So there's 3 little openings in it that, you know, I guess it makes it easier for the little baby coconut to pop out of. But you know, we've also seen these coconuts, I can show you some up front, pop out of random places on the side or whatever of the coconut. I'm not sure they always pop out of the 3 holes there, but anyways.
And to sprout one into a tree, we looked everywhere online to see different ways to sprout the coconuts into trees when we first moved here, because we saw the coconuts in people's piles and we wanted more coconut palms. So I looked online and everyone said, oh, you got to soak it in water for 24, 48 hours to get it to sprout. Well, if you live in an area where coconuts are already growing, really all you have to do to get a coconut to sprout is you got to make sure it has water in it, because if it doesn't, that means it's not going to have the life in it to make that plant sprout. But this is all you do, and you let it sit there.
So sometimes we even line garden beds with them. Line a couple up. It looks kind of cool. It does, weeds sometimes grow up through them, and then you gotta weed them, but it looks real cool to line a garden bed with them. And I wouldn't say our success rate sprouting them is high this way, but it's probably, you know, what, 40 to 50, 60%.
Yeah.
Sprout if they're good coconuts.
Yeah, and I think maybe some of our trial and error in the beginning was I just wasn't being as choosy about the coconuts because I was so excited to find them. But now that I've learned more about the coconuts and what to look for, I think we're gonna have a higher success rate. But literally, I mean, you have to be patient because it takes a long time to get this sprout. I mean, those plants right there are probably 1.5 years old. Yeah,
easy. And our neighbor, it's funny, the neighbor that we got these from literally has like hundreds of sprouted coconuts. They have way more than.
And I would say their success rate was 100%.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's because they were picking the proper coconuts. We weren't in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they have a pile that they just laid out in their yard, and every single one of them looks like this. It kind of looks cool. It almost looks like a big grass patch. all the coconuts that they have planted, and then they just, I think after they get about this big, they just rip them out and put a whole new patch of coconuts down and let it start over again. But you know, and I mean, again, if you're someone who's, you know, prepping for the end of the world, I mean, there is a lot of food sitting right in here. There's a lot of coconut water. There's a lot of meat inside of those coconuts. And again, it'll last for months just sitting just outside like this. I mean,
and it's high calorie too. You know, you know, if you're trying to live on something to sustain yourself, I mean, there are like all kinds of good benefits to coconut oil.
In fact, yeah, hold on. We're gonna do probably 226 more videos about coconuts. But you know, when they came home, you know, my wife, if you've seen our Wacky Wife series, she brings home a lot of wacky stuff. But every time they score a big bucket of coconuts, I'm pretty stoked. So you know, there's just a million uses for these. I'm sure that a lot of y'all out there, you know, have them, and and love them just like we do. So
our neighbors painted a whole bunch of them for Easter,
Yes.
like Easter eggs, and put them all over the neighborhood. And they started doing that last year during COVID, and all of our Easter activities were shut down, and we weren't able to do any egg hunts. And then on Easter,
I mean, I bet we
woke up
could make some kind of like wacky tropical bowling game out of these too.
Or
Oh, yeah.
jack-o'-lanterns.
Jack, yeah. All right, y'all. Well, we just wanted to show you this find here, and you know, please post in the comments below if you have any ideas for us. You know, any creative ideas for what we could do with all these, because we have lots of them, and we love them. So
yeah, we're nuts for coconuts.
no, we're bananas.
Bananas
We're
for
bananas for coconuts. But anyways, all right, y'all. I think we've reached the point in our video where it's time to
Subscribe.
and if you don't, what's gonna happen?
You're gonna end up in Pompeii.
Oh no, not Pompeii again. That's so far from home. My grass would grow up and I don't know what I'd do. But anyways, y'all, please, if you liked our video here, subscribe to our channel. And until next time, everybody take care.
Take care. Take care.